Hello to my wonderful subscribers and newcomers. Today I am doing a anti-haul palette edition. I can't remember if this is my 5th anti-haul. I think it is. You know, I need to do more of these. I really do. Actually, no, it's my 6th one. So I did anti-haul number 5 about a month ago. Or I posted it about a month ago, and I have number 6. This is the 6th one. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's actually pretty cool how I've gone through already 6 of them. But anyways, I need to do way more. I really do. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I know I'm not gonna purchase, and I will post another one probably in the next couple weeks. But this one is directed more on specific palettes. I am only going to show you a couple in this particular episode. And if you want another palette edition anti-haul part 2, please like and comment down below. I would love to know. That way I know what you guys want to see. For any of you who is wondering what's on my face, sorry, I have a little bit of allergies. The eyeshadow is the Peaches and Cream palette by Too Faced, and the matte palette, by the way. The matte palette, because I do not agree with the original Sweet Peach palette. The lips are the Dose of Colors Satin Lipstick in Toasted with my Sephora 1 gloss, like the 01 gloss. That's the plumping gloss that they have, like the little short ones on top. So in case any of you are wondering. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive right in. Sorry, I'm a little bit off key the last few days. I did go into a surgery. They call it a surgery. It's just a procedure. And I'm very aware of my stitches on my leg. And normally when I'm filming with you guys, I'm usually leaning my elbows on my legs when they're crossed. I can't do that today. So I'm very conscious about it. And I'm trying really hard not to do that. Because when I do that, it disrupts my stitches. But anyways, if you do want a video on that particular procedure, I will gladly tell you. Just let me know down below and I will do a video. So anyways, moving on. The anti-haul is going to begin with Morphe. I own Morphe products. I have enjoyed Morphe products. I have Morphe brushes. I have the Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush collection with the snakeskin like case, which I think is a great set. It is pricey, yes, but you do get some really high-end makeup in there, and high-end makeup. You get high-end brushes. So you know, I think that it's a good set. Now, do I like everything from Morphe? No, not necessarily. But with that said, I have a couple of Morphe palettes. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. I did purchase the Jaclyn Hill palette. I have the 35O palette, the original 35O, and I have the 35R, which is the gold palette. And then I also have the 25A and 25B palette, which is the spice, what is it? Not sugar and spice palette. I don't remember what it's called. Something spice palettes. They're cool tone and warm tones. So those are the extents of Morphe palettes that I own. Now, with that said, Morphe's coming out with the 35O version 2 palette. And I will link that here at this point. And for those who, just in case they haven't seen it, damn. Let's see if this works. That's what the palette looks like. So it's supposed to be released on October 12th, which was yesterday, because I'm filming this on October 13th. And that is what the palette looks like. Now, to be totally honest, you guys, it looks very similar to the 35O, the original 35O. And I know that there's mixtures of mattes and shimmers in this particular palette. Again, it's a warm palette. It's just basically a reversionized version of the original one. Personally, for me, I think it's a waste. If you already have the first 35O palette, you don't need this one. I think that this is just another ploy to try to make more money, obviously. Everybody went crazy and ballistic for the 35O. It kept selling out. I think it still does it keeps selling quite well. So they figured they would do a 2.0 version, and hopefully it'll do just as good. Now, really, the star of this show here are these two really gorgeous, these two really gorgeous, like, reddish orangey shades. They're dupeable. You guys, if you guys are a eyeshadow palette junkie like I am, I'm sure that you can find dupes for these in other palettes that you own. And frankly, the other shades in here are found in other Morphe palettes that I already have. So there's no reason for me to be buying this one. So this one I'm not going to be picking up. Originally, I thought to myself I really wanted it. But then when I looked at the palette closely, I saw what it had. I saw what shadows are similar in my other Morphe palettes and my other branded palettes. And I just found that it was, there was a lot of it was dupable, and it's just another one of those money-hungry type of marketing schemes for makeup in general, for consumerism. So I will not be getting that one. I believe the palette runs, they're at the same price for their 35 pan shadow palettes normally do. But, for me, it's just not worth it. I live in Canada. I've purchased from Morphe in the past, and I've done a bulk purchase because that's when it's worth it the most for me to do a bulk purchase. Their shipping rates are astoundingly expensive, more expensive than Kylie Cosmetics. And frankly, I'm not going to spend more for shipping than I would for the palette, because if I were to just get the palette, I would be spending more on the shipping than I would the palette. So it just doesn't make sense that way. It is what it is. The customers and consumers outside of this United States, it's a little bit more expensive, especially with shipping and the dollar rate changes. So unless I would be making a mass order to Morphe, I will not be picking that up. A lot of people will say, oh, you mean to say that you would pick it up if you did like another mass order. Well, I won't be doing another mass order to Morphe probably for another couple of years, because frankly, I have the brushes I need from them that I wanted. I have, the makeup that I've wanted from them. I'm not really interested in their, lip glosses and their, concealers and all that kind of stuff. I just don't find that it's worth it for me to go and buy that online when I can go to the drugstore, I can go to Sephora and spend the exact same amount of money on something at Sephora that probably would work way better. So that is just my justification. Doesn't have to be yours, it's mine. But yeah, so Morphe's new 350 2.0 palette is a no-no for me. Now the next one I'm going to show you is the Natasha Denona Lila palette. I'm going to insert a picture right here. And so this Lila palette, for those of you who might not have seen it, I like to double show you the picture just in case something happens with my editing and I can't insert the picture. At least you guys can see it on my phone. So this palette is like the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette. It reminds me a lot of Huda Beauty's Desert Dust palette. Now, this palette Canadian runs for $168 Canadian. The Huda Beauty one runs for $85 Canadian. Now, I own the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette, and frankly, I'm quite happy with that one. Yes, it's a more expensive palette. Yes, I did post in one of my older Auntie hauls that I wasn't going to get her rose gold palette, which I never did. However, in this palette, she did change a bit of features. She included a huge ass mirror in her Huda Beauty one, in her Desert Dust one, which is great because I love mirrors with my palettes. She included more shimmer shades opposed to just toppers where you have to use your finger, opposed to like the rose gold one was just like toppers. And the palette that Huda came out with for Desert Dust is something that I don't have in my collection. I don't have that particular roundabout of shadows that I could use for a look like that. So it was something that was very unique to me. Again, the Natasha Denona one is quite similar, not identical, but quite similar, especially in tones, but you're getting less shades. Maybe you're getting more product, but you're getting less shades, less shade selection. You have to pay a hell of a ton more money. And frankly, to me, I'm happy with the Huda one. I don't need to spend $168 plus tax Canadian for a eyeshadow palette. I think that's ridiculous. I have brought Natasha Denona in other anti-hauls, and I've told you guys many times, I think her shadows are overpriced. Now, if I were to get it as a gift, sure, I would try it. I'm sure they're great shadows, don't get me wrong, but I find that they're too overpriced, and I think it's ridiculous how overpriced they are. There should be no reason why an eyeshadow palette is worth the same amount as some people's rent. That's just, it's mind-boggling to me. So yes, I will not be buying the Natasha Denona Lila palette. Moving on. The next one is, oh, Anastasia. Anastasia. Now, I purchased the Subculture palette, and I thought I wasn't going to get the Subculture palette. In my mind, when it first came out, sorry guys. See what happens when I lose track of my train of thought? In my mind, when I decided to use the Subculture and purchase it, is because the color combinations in that palette was something that I don't have in my current collection. And that is why I picked up the palette. It was very unique to my collection, and I wanted to include it in my collection for the uniqueness that it gives, because then I can expand my looks with it, whether I have to use it on its own, in its own palette, or in conjunction with others. So now Anastasia came out with a Prism palette. I will link the photo right now. And for those of you who haven't seen it, the Prism palette looks like this. Kind of reminds me of the Self-Made palette. I don't know. Am I just, making things up? Like, I'm not sure. When I look at the Prism palette, I think of the Self-Made palette. I don't know if that is just me. I have the Self-Made palette from last holiday season, and I have used it. But because I have the Self-Made palette, I really don't see that I need this. Like, these are just shadows that I have from in other palettes, So, great, but no thanks, Anastasia. A lot of people were controversy with the Subculture palette being a pressed pigment palette and, hard to work with and all that. I have had Anastasia palettes in the past. Aside from Subculture, the rest of her palettes were great. They were easy to use, they were buttery, they were pigmented, they were blendable. I'm not really that afraid of the quality for this one that a lot of people are to bite the bullet on. I'm just looking at the shadows as what they are, and I'm not inspired by this. I just find that it's very dupable in what I already own. So, sorry Anastasia, I'm just not going to be picking up the Prism palette. I look forward to seeing what they create with Nicole Guerrero for an eyeshadow palette. I know that is in the works. I've seen on Nicole's Instagram, Snapchat, can't remember, but somewhere on there, that they were Anastasia's team was working with Nicole Guerrero to come out with a eyeshadow palette. So I think I'm going to, the Prism one, I'm going to skip on. I'm going to wait and see what Nicole comes out with them. Maybe it's a great palette. I don't know. But I definitely need to skip on this one. It is okay, you guys, to not have to buy every single collaboration, every single palette, every single makeup new release that comes out. It's okay not to. Back in the day when I was just starting out on YouTube and I really wanted to try everything under the sun, my collection became too overwhelming that I kind of took a step back and reevaluated what I'm looking for in my collection. So I gave a lot of high-end palettes away to family and friends, and I tried a lot of stuff out to learn what exactly it is I'm looking for in a makeup palette, in beauty, in skincare, whatever. So, it is okay to say no to a collaboration or a new release, just so you know. Next up is the Kylie Cosmetics Purple Palette. I'm going to insert a picture right here. Sorry, guys. So in case you guys haven't seen it, that's what it looks like. So Kylie went back to her 9-pan circular pans for her palette. Honestly, you guys, I'm so underwhelmed with Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadows. I have one face palette from her, and I have one eyeshadow palette. The face palette I have from her is by is the Coco Collection face palette. So it comes with a bronzer, 2 highlights, and a blush. That one's actually not bad. Her eyeshadows are very underwhelming. I have the Peach palette from her, and as you know, her matte shadows are fine, but her shimmer shadows are so underwhelming that it's not worth the money. So when I see this particular palette, I think like, okay, so it's the same setup as her burgundy palette, as her bronze palette. I just, no. All these shadows are dupable in my collection. I have something similar. I really do. I have something similar to all these particular shadows. So, no, Kylie, I'm not going to be getting these. Sorry. You know, a lot of people will agree, they'll disagree. For me personally, I don't need it. I'm not going to buy it. It's a waste of money for in that aspect. So, moving on. Now, the next palette, I have 2 more. So, the next palette is something that comes out every single season. Not every season, every year, every Christmas, every holiday, whatever you want to call it. Lorac Mega Pro palette. I think this is the 4th one. I'm going to insert a picture right now. And for those of you who haven't seen it, that's what, oh, let me turn it around. That's what it looks like. So, I don't know about you, but when I look at this palette, I'm like bored. Is that just me? Am I the only one that sees that? I'm bored. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the color combinations. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, most of it is cool toned. You got your odd pops of warm tones in there, and they're all grayish. Like, no. No. Mega Pro Palette 4 Canadian is almost like, I think it's like $60 or $70. I think it's $73 if I'm not mistaken. And I don't feel inspired by this at all. I really don't. I think it's a waste of $70. I think that I can dupe these in palettes that I already have. Not to mention, I'm more of a warm tone lover, so when I look at this and I only see the shade Spice and maybe Dark Chocolate as our similar warm shades, and Mahogany, I'm like, the rest of the stuff is kind of to me. So, $73, not worth it for me, not going to buy it. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, you know, if you have a Lorac lover in your family, then I can see why it's a good gift, but, you know, on a personal note, unless you collect Lorac, like, Mega Pro palettes, I've never collected a Mega Pro palette. I have the Lorac 1 and the Lorac 2, but, so the Lorac Pro 1 and the Lorac Pro 2 I own, but I don't own the Lorac Pro 3. I don't own the Lorac Mega Pros. I just find that they're not, the Mega Pros are not great for travel because they're so large. The Pro 1 and the Pro 2 I like to use. The Pro 1 I like to use more so in the fall because of the warm tones and, you know, they're beautiful colors. The Pro 1 is warm. The Pro 2 is cool, so I'm not using the cool one as often. So I just don't find the use for me to get, no, just no. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys might think my excuses are shit, but I can tell you right now that they're good enough for me not to go and spend my hard-earned money on. Now, the last one I want to talk to you guys about is by a drugstore brand. And I don't know if I've really mentioned a lot of drugstore brands in my Auntie hauls. Maybe once, maybe, but this is something that I actually saw in person at the drugstore recently, and then I found it on Instagram by accident, and I'm like, oh, hells, girls, no. This is the Fierce Fantasy 2017 collection, which is basically their holiday collection. Let me insert first a picture. Let's see if the picture will work. That's what it looks like. These palettes, I kid you not, are all glitter. All glitter. So you have to use these palettes in conjunction with other matte shadows. They are directed to holiday season, so you can tell, like, you've got your reds, your whites, your blacks, you've got some greens and some bronzy colors here. These are very holiday-esque. No. These are basically pressed glitters in a pan. I get it, Wet n Wild, it's affordable, but at the same time, you guys, don't waste your money. Like, I mean, I'm sure all of us have glitter in our collection somewhere. I would use the glitter that I have already for the holidays, because really, when do you really use glitter? when do you really use glitter? I mean, for me personally, I don't use glitter if I'm just going to my boyfriend's house to spend an evening with him, or if we're going out. I use glitter if it's Christmas, New Year's, if it's a wedding, like something flashy where I'm getting all dressed up and fancy, then I'll use glitter. But on an everyday basis, if I'm going out for dinner, if I'm going, to a family's house, like a family member's house, like I will not be wearing glitter on like just regular occasions. Like I don't think I've used glitter more than maybe 5 times in my lifetime so far. I know. Sounds sad. It's true. It's very true. I'm not the type of person to have all kinds of loose glitter hanging around. I own the Stila Stay All Day. What are they? The glitter like shadows that come in that little like tube. Those are enough for me. I think I have 3 shades, and those are enough for me to use when I need to use glitter, because they will do the job for the looks that I'm looking for. And I'm happy with that. I don't need the Wet n Wild glitter palettes. Those glitter palettes remind me of do you remember the Too Faced Glitter Bomb palette that came out, I think it was before summertime this year? I did post it in one of my anti-hauls. I don't know if it was the last anti-haul I did or the one before that, but I did post that in there. No, I don't need more glitter. I don't know what it is about, slapping glitter on something and just calling it frickin' a day, but no. I don't know what it is. It's just, don't waste your money, you guys. You're not going to use the glitter palette on a daily basis. It's going to get thrown in the side of your drawer. You're going to forget about it. And then, when you come back to it again, it'll probably be too late. It'll be dried up. You can't use it. It gets cracky. It starts to fall apart. It won't stay on your lid, even with glitter glue. And you've wasted your money. So don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just telling you right now. Don't do it. You'll thank me later. I promise. That's it. That's all I had for my anti-haul number 6. Can't believe it. So, with that said, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah!